The reason that I got into this and the name of the foundation is on Karim's name is that I lost my only child, age of 19, here in Islamabad in a party. You will be experimenting yourself. The only thing that you really possess is yourself, your body. And why you will be experimenting with it. Pakistan, here and there, almost everyone has a chance, that your body is growing and that the hormones are playing havoc inside. Shayan, today, if I will have to start again, I will not be friend of my son. That we are living in a quite a nasty world, and if parents have to be more strict. The liberalism has not resolve any of the problems that I think that everything you can be a nice parent but you don't need to be a Dost. But one day my mother caught me and she said, "Oh, you want to be free? Start from your pocket." And the hypocrisy is so high. When Karim died, his own friend came to me and said that, "Auntie Christina, why are you telling that Karim died because he took drugs?" I said, "Because that's the truth." And he said, no, you should not say that. You should say that he had a car accident. Drug addiction, it's a control of a mind. Look at the geopolitics. Where is it Pakistan? Who is our friend and who is our enemy? It means I can erase your country if I get the youth. Where are we on the Olympic chart? Nowhere to be seen. Something is terribly wrong.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another episode of How Does It Work? A podcast by Pro Pakistani. Today we have Cristina von Sperling Afridi. Did I say that right this time?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Christina is the head of the Tariq Khan Afridi Welfare Foundation, a foundation focused towards anti-drug awareness and helping children get out of drug abuse. So before we get into all that KKAWF does, can you tell us about why you started this and how sort of it came about?
Yes, Shayan, I used to be a businesswoman and I had all the kinds of business. I had a restaurant, interior design. And the reason that I got into this and the name of the foundation is on Karim's name is that I lost my only child, age of 19, here in Islamabad in a party. He's gone to a party and I think he took some ecstasy and took some drinks and he got sick. He choked to death. So never came back. So that's the reason that I got involved in this world of drugs, to let people know, at least the youth to know, that's not worth it to get into that, to get into trap, because actually you don't really know your body. Sometimes you go to experiment situations. This is your first time. You did okay, you didn't die. Maybe in the second, third, the 50 you will die, or you will never die. But my point is that why you will be experimenting yourself. The only thing that you really possess is yourself, your body. And why you will be experimenting with it. So in case of Karim, it's just really got sick and choked to death. So that's how I am involved in this world, and I use his death and his name that will live through his to this foundation to try to wake up the people that this can happen.
And as a mother, did you know that your son was, did you have an idea at least? You know how you know, but you don't kind of...
Pakistan, here and there, almost everyone has a chance. You know how much it is. So we thought that, I don't want to be a pro-chassis but the thing is, which we are against, but it just per se did not kill anyone. You know, it's
By
difficult
Chelsea, you mean hash, smoking
hash.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get into other situations, but I mean, so I thought maybe, if when you are a teenager, that I mean, and it's so common here, that maybe here and there he was just experiment hash. And then obviously I had a conversation with him. So that was because in our house we are very open about every subject. And said, no. And obviously he was going to school, he was okay, everything was fine. And what's happened, this is actually for the mothers to check on it. There is a very fine line during the adolescent time to identify that are they on drugs or are they just behave like a teenager.
How can you tell?
You see, that's the thing. It is a very, very fine line that you have to observe. So you have to be extra, observant to really to identify that. Because we go to schools and we talk to students, and I always say that the 7 years of adolescence, we all been there, is the worst time of one's life. You don't know how you look like. You don't know how to behave in such a situation. Your emotions are totally confused because you have no conscience that what's happening in our body. Even in where I come from, I mean, that we talk so much about biology. We talk, you know what's happened. We're supposed to know. When you put in practice, when we are adolescent, I mean, it really doesn't have, because our motto is that helping the youth identify, understand, and manage emotions. Because you really do not know, you do not have the conscience that your body is growing and that the hormones are playing havoc inside you. You know, like sometimes you start to cry, you feel like you're choking, and then you slam the door, and then you get surprised yourself because you don't know why you behave that. But then you stick on with that because, it's your pride. So then there is a lot of emotions, confusion during that period. And unless you do not identify that, yes, this has happened to me, you think you're having a problem. Huh?
And as a mother, now knowing what you know, obviously at the time you didn't know, is there anything you would have done differently? Is there anything you tell mothers to, do differently? Should you be more strict? Should you not be strict? I mean, what can a mother or a father do if their child is on drugs?
Honestly speaking, Shayan, today, if I will have to start again, I will not be friend of my son.
Why?
Because I don't think parents should be friend of their son, their kids. They should like their kids, certainly, yes, but not give in to their demand. Sometimes you want to be a nice parent, and whatever they ask, you say yes, yes, yes. Oh, hamaरा दोस्त जा रहे हैं, you deserve. So, I उसके साथ भी जा रही हूँ because the other one was going and this and that. So, sometimes you just need to be strict, and they should swallow that. My only regret that I was too good. Maybe if I had, of course, it was an accident. That happened, that he had more than he should, or he didn't know his body, and it can happen like this. But I think I would have been more strict.
And don't you feel like if you're strict with your children, I mean, people say that they rebel, then they go against. What do you think of that?
Let them rebel. Well, we are rebelling anyways. Whenever we are teenager, we are rebelling. I said that it's kids, human beings without a cause. They're all rebels. They are rebels. But I mean, really, if you ask, what's your problem? Do you have a house? Yes. Do you go to school? Yes. Do you have food on your table? Yes. And then, you just ask the question, this is what's your problem? Because we, as adolescents, we tend to create problems.
Right.
And really, we don't know. We don't. And I think that we are living in a quite a nasty world, and if parents have to be more strict. The liberalism has not resolved any of the problems that I think that everything you can be a nice parent, but you don't need to be a Dost. There is a difference there. Accept all demands. That's the thing.
And when you were younger, not like younger when Kareem was born, younger when you were a child, when you were a teenager.
Me?
Yes.
Very rebellion.
Yeah.
Very rebellion. But I understood, once I tell you my story. Very rebellion, and I come from a liberal society. But one day my mother caught me and she said, "Oh, you want to be free? Start from your pocket." And I thought with myself, she's right. She said, "Under my roof, under my rules." And I said, it makes sense. And immediately I got a job. And when you got a job, you become more responsible because you're engaged in that thing there. And then, of course, you get more interested on the money. And then you divide your time so you don't have a time to, do things then your life starts.
Structure.
Yeah, and then a plus for that. I always been sportive. And this is it's one of our program in the KKAWF that sport is the answer. Sport. Move. It's the solution for everything, especially during the
Adolescence.
growing up period. This is very important. Get engaged in the sports activity because I always say that the solution is the kick is within, because you stimulate the production of endorphin. And endorphin is that the hormones that makes you feel good, mood lifter, and makes you feel, proud. And that's what you need during adolescence, because you're coming through such a broad transformation. Men start to change their voice, and then doesn't know about the hair on their faces, and women also changing their body. So it's a very insecure sort of moment. But sports can solve settle all this production of hormone in a positive manner during the adolescent time.
And of course, because when I was younger, I used to play sports. It releases dopamine, it releases endorphins, like you're saying, and you really enjoy it. But then there are some people who don't like sports, right? They don't have a natural athletic ability, or they just they're not interested in it, even if they have the ability. What should kids like that do then?
Well, look, this is just a lazy, let's say that we also belong to a lazy society. I mean, we have so many people working for us. If something fails there, you call someone else to come and pick it up. So, I mean, it's a bit of a lethargic behave, and lazy. Should not be there. And then you do not exercise in a day-to-day manner, but then you pay to go to a gym. So there is something that when we talk about to put our behavior right on this is to use a logic also, And I was with the girls in a college the other day, and then there were so few that were engaged in sports. And I said, you do not know the benefit of it. If there is nothing, just go for a walk. If there is nothing, go track on the margalas. I mean, it's so
beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and you don't need to pay anything. It's not that I don't have the money. You have to build up a will, because whatever you do during your period of adolescence will reflect afterwards. So I mean, in a technologic world we are all looking at a machine. Our relationship is all through some kind of instrument. So then we had also reduced our feelings, and definitely we have increased our solitude. So we are all with a word in a room. I mean, and so the emotion have to be readdressed, how we perceive the world. That's why we see so many tragedies, and it just became a number. Honestly, that's the way.
And when you go to these schools, you meet all sorts of children from all over Pakistan. Everyone thinks that there is a drug problem, but my kid is not on drugs. It's someone else's kid, or it's like, oh no, it's just he tried chars once or something like that. How bad is it? How bad is the drug problem?
Shayan, is so bad. I mean, and the hypocrisy is so high. When Karim died, his own friend came to me and said that, Auntie Christina, why are you telling that Karim died because he took drugs? I said, because that's the truth. And he said, no, you should not say that. You should say that he had a car accident. I said, do you think my pain is going to be less? Do you think that this is not the moment that I can use, with my pain to make or to avoid this to happen in other families? I mean, it's, we have to address. In fact, we were the first one to open up a dialogue in the society, Shayan, frankly speaking, because, till today, drugs is a taboo. You don't talk about. And every family, near or far, has a problem of drug addiction. And this destroys the family. So when I go to the schools, where my message is for the parents that, for God's sake, I mean, we are all vulnerable. Your kids are vulnerable. We are vulnerable. Tragedy can knock at in anybody's door. So we have to be prepared. Therefore, we have to step out. Yes, we have to address this issue because the monster is out there. And we want to, at least like we do, is to develop that what we are trying to do, develop a mechanism of self-defense. Because it's very difficult to fight a drug industry, the second biggest in the world. So, how are you going to achieve that? As much the enforcement agencies might be working and whatever we've been addressing, if you do not develop a mechanism of self-defense, you're the only one that can protect yourself. And that's why we keep on insisting on this.
And are the drug enforcement agencies here in Pakistan and the local authorities doing anything about the drug problem? How
Yes.
well are they working?
Well, they are working, and I say that it's never enough, because my logic is that if there is no drug, there will be no addiction. So, but it's very difficult to, nowadays, you see, with all this, you ship drugs everywhere. People are receiving at home, And it's such a big market that it's, of course, they keep on saying also the porous border that we have with Afghanistan, that all the heroin is coming from. And we are the corridor of drugs, because from here we distribute everywhere. It's a big business. So morals are not to be counted, obviously. And when the person, my feeling is that I had once mentioned, and I keep on mentioning to our enforcement agencies, is that the moment that you fix one drug baron, you set the path. And they surprisingly said, but Mrs. Afridi, what about the international community on this regard? We have drug penalty here and a capital penalty. If you have, for the sake of your community, of your country, you should use it. If you're not using it because of what the international community is going to say, so scrape it. There is no use to have it. You see? So this business is striving every day, because it's something that takes your mind out of reality. Drugs are being made by cleaning chemicals, all kinds of chemicals, because it just takes your mind away. So I'm dead. And then tomorrow you wake up and say, I'm not dead, but I'm quite dead of the hangover, etc., etc. And then, of course, this continue of addiction. So it is never enough. That's why prevention is a very important thing. But prevention not with danda, like we say, with logic and love. You have to understand that this is the only thing you possess. If you ruin this thing, what's the use to be alive?
And who's sort of the donations? Where are they coming from? Who are the donors? Can say like if I want to help with KKAWF, can anyone help, or is it particularly structured more like an NGO? How does that bit work?
No, we accept donations because, in fact, we need that. Because for us to be more, our prevention campaigns to be more effective, we need to contract more professionals. And to pay the professionals, I mean, we will need, of course, the only way. Because actually, prevention is like that thing. Drugs are making money. Prevention are the one to stop you to make money. So now we are the one that are trying to disturb that market, which is not good. So when I come to you and I said, okay, Shayan, this is our project, and please, would you help us? Prevention has no form. No? Prevention is something that is there. And I said, it's one idea. I hear Shayan, but if you're not wise enough and you cannot foresee things, you will say, but it's better to give money to a drug addict that is present here. That you make a rehabilitation center, then to do something. But what I'm doing to you, offering to you, is something to avoid you to have the drug addict and the rehabilitation centers. I say to the rehab centers, I said, look, if I succeed with my endeavor, you people are going to be all out of business.
And there's multiple studies to show that once someone has a drug problem, they struggle with it for life. So if you're able to prevent it before it gets to a point of addiction, you could genuinely save their lives. Because even if you have fantastic rehabilitation centers, and Pakistan has some, I'm sure, the issue that comes is that those who have gone into addiction, they can relapse at any time. They can go back into addiction. It's a very tough struggle.
That's why they call recovering. This is a never recover. It's a recovering, because the moment that you're fine, and then you meet an old pal that said, for the old time's sakes, you're already back on it. You see. But talking about the rehabilitation center, there are very, very few that are with any standard, if I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
We have been going, that's why one of the things that I tell the students, that if you have seen a rehabilitation center, you won't like to be there.
Why? What's wrong with them?
First of all, it became another business. No? You hook the people, and then you go into recover there. So every 3 months, you will have 3 months spending there. Then you go back to your same neighborhood. You meet your same people. Again, you are going there. Shayan, you have no idea the amount of phone calls that we receive of desperate parents that had lost their cars, had sold their land to try to save a loved one. It is unbelievable. You have no idea how much we suffer with the families, what is going on. In a daily basis, people are dying. And unfortunately, we do not have policy or a law to make the rehabilitation centers, I mean, in the international standard. There is no law that says that you cannot open. I can open a rehabilitation center because I am an organization, and in my what they call rules and things, I can afford. But you can, anyone can. So it became a big business. So where is the scientific structure and base that you need for internet? And it's there, but it's not regulated. So now it's mushrooming. It's another business. So you hook person, then you hook and the families are suffering more and more and more.
And when you speak to them, those families, is there any particular place you recommend them to go? So let's say, there's someone watching this podcast who's got a drug problem.
Actually, right now, I mean, other day, we have not visited yet a new one that this girl, I know her from United Nations Special Assembly that I met. She's a Pakistani psychiatrist that she's serious about that, I know. But right now, we always recommend the one that we know, that's in Peshawar. This is a family that had suffered like I did and had decided to
Do something about it.
do something about, and that definitely it's someone that I know that's not a money maker.
What's it called?
Institution. It's a Dost Foundation.
Okay.
And it is, I mean, they're doing for 30 years they've been working a brilliant job. They have suffered themselves losses in their own house. So, and they know what it's about. So it's not one more thing. Where I live in Banigala, there are, I think, 5 rehabilitation centers. Who do they respond to? I mean, this we had already addressed with the Minister of Narcotic Control. We have addressed this issue because you cannot allow anyone to open a place, and because parents are desperate anyways, and it's according to the money. Either you be tied up in a chapai, or you're going to go to a superstar luxury rehab in Lahore or elsewhere. So it depends how far your money can reach, but how many times you can keep on putting in and out. So, and then it's so depressing. We have, in fact, presented one model rehabilitation center that we believe that the government should own that. And from there, it should be a training center also, that from there, the professionals are going to be trained in rehabilitation, drug rehabilitation specifically, and then they will be allowed to be part of any team of a rehabilitation center. Yeah.
And you mentioned mental health. You spoke about the psychiatrist who's opening a rehabilitation center as well. Do you think in Pakistan that's also a big taboo, mental health, talking about it, seeing a therapist, good therapists available?
It is a taboo. It is. I mean, in the West, it's very normal. I mean, you have a psychologist like you have a hairdresser. You talk about that. I went to my, psychologist or thing like this. Yes, it's still a taboo. It's still the psychiatrist is there. They are there, but I mean, it's still. I believe that the value to a psychologist have to be given, which is not sufficiently. As a profession recognized. I mean, it's like, they almost become assistant of a psychiatrist. But I believe that the number one on the addressing of mental health should be the counselors and education institutions. We already recommended that. A few schools had been practicing this, but not enough. Should start even public schools should set the path. And then, of course, the others to follow. Because I believe all the transformation on the education system should start from the public schools. And then, of course, the other one will follow in any way. But the first identification of emotional disturb, it should be in the school itself. So a counselor will identify that. And from a counselor will go to a psychologist if it's not. And the psychiatrist is the last instance because psychiatrist is allowed to give medicine.
Right.
And for us, at the end of the day, you are hooked in a legal or illegal medicine is the same, right? So there are something that's why our concentration on prevention, Shayan, that's what it is. Avoid consequence. Just day before yesterday, the Chief Minister of Punjab had announced a very tough hand on the public schools and all schools of drug inside that they are going to identify and they are going to put them in prison for 2 years and then they're going to, because at the end of the day, when you become addict, you have no money, you become a peddler. So, and that it escalates, and it depends of your life, and you make the business like this. So we believe that addiction should be decriminalized, but on the other hand, we do not forgive who does any kind of business with drug. I mean, it's
Dealing.
not acceptable to deal. In our our belief is that we should put, which was already suggested, but I mean, it can only suggest, is that every beginning of a term, of education term, we have to have a health assessment, a student health assessment.
Right.
This is very good.
Is it like a drug test?
No, not specific for drug.
Okay.
For example, if you come to my school and you're diabetic, Shayan, and I see you all the time having ice cream like this, I'm a teacher, I know about your condition, I will say, Shayan, what is this? So it's a shared responsibility.
Right.
You know, share responsibility with the school, because after all, you spend more time in the school than, I mean, maybe in your own house, let's say that under surveillance. So the school should know that what is your health condition.
Right.
And of course it will serve for drugs as well, because if you come to, you present to the school and the counselor has all the files and your Shayan is clean, you arrive clean, then of course at the end of the year we are going to do another health assessment, because it is good for everybody to check health. And Shayan is not clean anymore. So then what's happened to that period? So I can evaluate your performance, academic performance, and then I can evaluate what's happened to you internally. So there is a extra control, which in my schools, we used to have this. I mean, it's not offensive.
Right.
It's shared responsibility in every case, I think.
So, I mean, we've got a good arc of how the sort of drug problem is in Pakistan and everything. But I was also curious, and I actually don't know this myself, so I wanted to know for my own self. What about your story not related to KKAWF? How did you end up here in Pakistan? I know you've started Majlis, for example, other restaurants, other businesses here. How does a Brazilian woman end up here? What's that life like? What happened?
Well, Shayan, I used to be a horse show job.
Okay.
You know, and my husband, Tariq Afridi, he was the Pakistan ambassador there in Brazil, and he was a polo player. So the horse really brought us together. It was the Cupid. It was the horse who brought us together. Argentinian ambassador was friend of both of us, and introduced, and of course, my horse used to be in the cavalry regiment, cavalry park there, and Tariq used to play polo in there. So, of course, the relationship started there, and then I said, why not?
And had you been to Pakistan before? Or did you guys get married in Brazil?
No, I got married in Brazil.
Okay.
Then we got married here too.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But for me, it was a new world.
Yeah. Had you ever been to Pakistan before that? No. You knew nothing about Pakistan. Wow.
Nothing about.
And what year was this when you moved here?
Now, of course, I've been married for 35 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've been living now here for 23 years.
23 years.
It's my home.
Wow. Yeah. So how was that when you moved here? How much of a culture shock?
When I moved here, I don't know if a culture shock, because I started to study. I went to study fine arts in Italy when I was 18. Then I lived there 2 years. Then I went back to Brazil. I've been always a bit of traveling a lot, maybe adventures in the sense that I want to see the world. I mean, although I come from a country that is in a continental side, there was no need. So go and explore your country, but I always did. But after I moved to Europe, then I went back. And then, of course, when I met Tariq, obviously, everybody was shocked that I was a Muslim. You're going to get married because I come from a Christian family.
Of course.
Yeah, and but we are monotheist, and we believe in one God, and we can be together, and that is very good. It's the beauty of it, and the difference is I believe that in the world there is this community that floats in the world that think the same. Regardless their faith, regardless their nationality, their colors, I mean, we think the same. So if we have the chance to meet anywhere, I mean, and it's like we think the same. And so it's that it creates a bond and a unity. And that's what's happened. But obviously, and I am very adaptable. I believe that the best place is here and now. I don't keep on thinking about my, oh God, my house, Brazil. No, I think that we make the place that you live in the best of it. And that is the good part of it. It's live the present. And when you live the present, the body, mind are in line, so life is good. So that's what I think that each one of us should believe, because otherwise we will be all the time, I miss the food there, I miss this thing. So no, when I go there, I enjoy. When I'm here, I enjoy what I can get from here as well, the good energy and facing the problems. And I'm so passionate with Pakistan. And it's my own country, so I will fight for it the same way that if I was born here. Pakistan had given me a lot, had taken my son as well, and I think I'm giving what is left to help other families to not to get into this sufferance, because it's you you carry in your life like this. I always think about Karim. I remember when he died, there were so many people that came for 3 months, and then the most strange stories that people used to relate. You know how it is when you go for absos. You can listen to. I mean, and I was just wondering what could I do? What could I do, to relieve this pain? And someone said to me that had lost also, I said, you're going to cry for 2 years, and then the tears are going to dry. But I mean, of course, like this Pashto poem says that you bury in your heart and you only die when you die yourself. I think that I have lots of consolation in what I'm doing. And I believe that I'm doing it right, but I need more mothers to get into this fight. Because that's what you mentioned before, that you say, well, if I get involved, which happened to us, if I get involved, they think my son is also. But no, I believe that as a mother, even as a sister or mother-to-be and whatever it is, the neighbor is your responsibility. The youth is your responsibility. The future of the country is your responsibility. Whoever you can impact is your responsibility. Shayan, drug addiction, it's a control of a mind. Look at the geopolitics. Where is Pakistan? Who is our friend and who is our enemy? If you really look up, we are surrounded by Iran, Afghanistan, India, China. So who are really our friends and who has the different agenda? An agenda of addiction is a national security threat. It means I can erase your country if I get the youth, which is the future of this country, completely it's the donkey and the carrot. You put the drug in front, they're all going to do whatever. All these suicide bombers and things, they're all under effect of some kind of drugs or the other, because you lose your emotion. You just became like a robot. Go there, do that, this, that, do that, do that. So the danger of the drug addiction on the future of your country, it's enormous. And we have 135 million below age of 30. That's the contingent that we have in Pakistan. That's the youth contingent. It's enormous. And I'm always saying that, okay, we have all this contingent, and where are we on the Olympic chart? Nowhere to be seen. Something is terribly wrong. How can sport not be our number one priority to engage the youth? The youth, they have nothing to do. Let's face it, this is the truth. Sport is a wing of IPC ministry, interprofessional coordination, which the value given is zero. Look at who is commanding the world and what are they dealing with the sports. What is China? At 3 years old, they're already doing God knows what, pirouette and this and that, and walking, jumping, and things like this. Look at United States, the same. It's compulsory, and it is there. No? Look at Russia. So these are the world players, and they take sports as a discipline very, very seriously. And where are we? In any sport, even the sports that we used to strive, what's happened to us? With 135 million below of 80, 30, we're supposed to be in the top 5.
That makes sense.
So we became lazy. I mean, we are not there. So that's the program, the campaign that we have, that sport is the answer. It's a true campaign. It's not just a true campaign, because we believe that it creates unity, pride. We need to rescue our pride. And how you rescue our pride? Beating the hell of the world in the sport.
I have one final question, and then I'll let you go. Now that KKAWF is established, it's been quite a while now. What's the ideal scenario, or what's the future goal that KKAWF has, say 10 years from now?
Yeah, this is, it's expand. It's be able to have a sort of a data to see where we started and what have we achieved. Because people should talk more about it. We actually we had trained 400 teachers last year in private and public schools, which with the program that we shared with you and ODC that called Unplugged, that we culturally adapt, called Hum Saath Hai. So we plan that this should be implemented or included in the curriculum in the public schools, and of course, therefore, in private schools as well. It's a very interesting program that it stimulates the critical thinking. We need to think, to be critical thinking. We need to think about what we are going to decide. Is it right or wrong? We have to have this. We got used to have a danda. And just this program is very interesting because it makes the teacher more interested to the communication with the students, much more closer, because it's not just that I tell you and it's what I told you, it's what is right. And I told you that it's right. I told you it's right. Therefore, you have no independence and you cannot develop. If you just absorb, and you don't question, why is that? To understand better. So then, obviously, you're going to be just like a robot. So this program is very good to develop critical thinking, and to give you more certitude, more pride, to feel more secure, to walk about, not... that behavior of, when you're colonized, that you're all the time banned like this. So it's to recognize your own value. That's the most important thing. So we hope that together with the Minister of Education, Minister of Narcotics Control, and all the stakeholders together, to develop this a program that you need to talk about. Once you put in the mainstream, it's not only like so far drugs is all glamorized. You see, and I blame a lot the entertainment industry that shows like that style of that man with big chain like here, nice car, 3 women, and good-looking women, and that's what boys want. Say, wow, that's the thing. And with the chars and then doing drugs. Say, wow, what a life! He's having a great life. So this glamorization. On the other hand, the girls also money, and this the guy has money, this and that. So they had to stop. We cannot stop, because the word is like this. You cannot stop. But then you have to have a conscience about that. That's really, it's like marketing. I mean, you'd like to be a subject or object of marketing, yes or no? I mean, critical thinking. You have to think about it, that it's right or wrong. So we hope that to achieve this, and prevention is a continuous campaign, awareness and prevention, and we will continue. We like what we're doing, and I think we have seen some results. At least we open up a dialogue.
Yeah, I know you're doing a fantastic job, and long may it continue. And thank you so much for being on the podcast, and thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you like the videos. See you next time.